Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. We're back with another episode. This is 137. Back with another fantasy mock draft. Still that kind of year. But it's about time to start drafting for Dynasty leagues. It's going to be different to what we did in the previous mock where it was just a regular redraft. We're going to be doing a Dynasty kind of startup mock draft here, 12-man. But joined here with Connor and Nick Gwynn. How we doing?
Doing good.
This is my first Dynasty draft ever. I've only heard about it. I've never actually done it. I've only done keeper and redrafts, so this will be very interesting to like move my mind from a normal fantasy area to kind of thinking about like the future, what Dynasty is.
Because I know me and Nick are both in multiple Dynasty leagues.
Just thinking about age a lot more.
Yeah, it's a big factor.
Instead of taking best player available most of the time, which was what most people would do in a redraft.
But it's also interesting because you can go at it a few different ways. Because if you want to have a team that's built for now, you can not really worry about age and go for the highest, the best overall people.
Yep.
And some of them will be at a discount, like CMC, as we can see, is going 4 in Dynasty. If you just don't really care about age and you just want to go for the best player, you can go CMC a little bit later, something like that.
Then like Devontae and Cooper Kupp go in like the same areas as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both older. I think you could build for future and also the now.
Yeah,
you can do a little bit of a mix of both.
There's a lot of, especially receivers, I think, are good for future and now. Like guys that you have on here, like Amon-Ra is like good for like now. I think Amon-Ra is going to be a really sought after person. People are going to really want. Even a Marvin Harrison, getting him for the future is huge.
You just get him forever.
I think a Marvin Harrison Kyler stack is really good. Even like a Burrow Chase kind of area. But yeah, there's a lot of receivers. Receivers are going to be eating good in fantasy.
Even I've always said, somebody like AJ Brown goes probably later than he probably should.
Mm-hmm.
I still think AJ Brown, even though it's Dynasty, AJ Brown's not anciently old.
Yeah, he's only 27.
Yeah, I think AJ Brown should be ranked in the same conversation. I also said this, Connor, in the redraft one that me and Nick did. AJ Brown should be in the same conversation as all the top receivers that go off the board. In no realm do I think Puka Nacua has a better year than AJ Brown when AJ Brown's clearly the one over there for the Eagles.
I think the Puka Nacua and then even the Garrett Wilson is just hype and the more what they think. Obviously the Eagles are coming off a down year offensively, so the Jets are getting Aaron Rodgers back. The Rams are kind of reloading. You already know how good their offense is. So they're just assuming that both of them are going to be really really good for fantasy, and they're both relatively young. 24 and 23. And yeah, I can see why they're ranked above AJ Brown, but I think AJ Brown is definitely the better player.
It's interesting because, like you said, and you're right when you say that the Eagles had a worse offense last year, and he still ended up as wide receiver 5.
Yeah.
So, I think you're right, Corey. I think he can be a little bit undervalued.
Now, with them adding Saquon,
yeah, maybe that could be a little.
They also probably think that because now they'll have a run game. I'm not saying that they didn't have a run game with Swift, but when you're adding in arguably a top 5 back in Barkley, it's very easy to open up the offense.
Mm-hmm. And Barkley catches passes too.
And what we've seen from Philly recently, it's if there's 4 minutes left in the game, Philly might not throw the ball again. They're going to run the ball as much as they can, and they did that. I know me and Corey saw that plenty of times last year, where the Eagles would just kill the clock. They would have an 8-minute drive to end the game. Right. So I think it's very interesting that they have AJ Brown low, but I can see why.
So I'm picking from the 5 spot because in our current Dynasty draft that we're starting, I'm going to be with the 5th overall pick, just doing a mock for that.
I'm going to be picking from the 8th spot because that's where I'm going to be picking in our Dynasty.
And I just took 10 because I just felt
decided 10?
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm going to go ahead and start it, and we can kind of talk about players as they go and everything else like that.
I know you're... Oh my god, I gotta turn this down. I know you're really high on Breece Hall, Corey.
So, in most mocks I do, Amon-Ra's not here.
Okay.
He's usually not here. It's usually him, going somewhere in the top 4. Bijan's usually a choice of him or Breece Hall for me right here. So I don't know. Just thinking about it, obviously it's fucking CPU. So like with our actual league mates, I don't know how it's gonna go in this draft with our friends.
With actual people, I think they're gonna overdo the running back situation. So I think a lot more running backs are gonna go, especially if we have people in our league who haven't really done a dynasty draft before. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know who has and who hasn't. But honestly, with pick 4, I think Amon-Ra is like crazy value. Or pick 5. Like if he's there, I think you just have to take him because he's just a safety blanket that you can have. And then I think that you're not going to get screwed by your second and third round picks if you wanted to go like back-to-back running backs.
Right.
Because I think there's also a lot of good running backs that are in here. There's only maybe 1 to 2 running backs that are maybe a little sus. But other than that, I think you're probably going to get good value, unless obviously we don't know what the computer is going to do.
Right.
But that's just what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna go Breece Hall though, just because of the way I like to draft.
Okay.
Like you're getting somebody in Breece Hall who I think could easily be the number 1 fantasy back this year, especially if CMC comes into the year hurt.
Yep.
Like Breece Hall, if Aaron Rodgers just stays healthy, and even when he wasn't healthy, Breece Hall still was solid enough to put fantasy wise. But like Aaron Rodgers is just gonna help open up that offense even more. It's gonna make it so much easier for Breece Hall to just get off.
See now sitting at the 8th pick, I think this is like super interesting because you take Breece Hall, so then I'm losing Christian McCaffrey. I mean, if Christian McCaffrey's at 8, I think you just have to take him.
Right.
I think you can't let him go any farther. So then he goes, and then Amon-Ra goes. So that would have obviously been my pick. And now you're really sitting here. You're like,
you have a mixed bag right here.
I was gonna say I really can go a lot of different places if I want to. I'm gonna move my mic here really quick. Obviously, I think the main pick right here, if we're going straight dynasty, and I want to be going, I don't hate a Marvin Harrison pick here, but I also can't just look at Tyreek Hill and be like, hey, I can let him go. I mean, Tyreek Hill's 30, but I think he can I just don't know if you can let him pass getting all the way to 8.
It's weird because AJ Brown is like the best of both of those situations. Like Marvin Harrison might be too much on like you still got to see it, but Tyreek Hill is on the older side compared to AJ Brown. Like we said,
he's on the older side still, but I still think the Dolphins' offense is still going to be rolling on all. Obviously, this is without injuries or anything. He does say he's questionable, but if a lot of these players are questionable, they'll all end up playing. He's wearing a brace on his hand today. That was what they were talking about. But I wouldn't really be worried about that. Tyreek Hill, he seems to play all the time, so I got no problems with that. But I think I am going to go Tyreek Hill. I don't think I can kind of pass that kind of value up right here. Just from how many points he can score and the big playability, and obviously that's not a future pick, but that's kind of
I don't think
that's almost like a right now pick.
And I don't think it's an only right now pick. Like he's still going to be good for a few more years. Yeah.
I actually thought he was older than 30.
Right.
I thought he was a little older, but I thought he was like 32, but I'm glad he's not.
Tyreek goes, and then Marvin Harrison goes right after you, putting me in a spot where I could take Jahmyr Gibbs, and he'd be, I think, the last running back before the little fall off that there is. Still young, obviously, but going up against David Montgomery in the backfield,
kind of that.
I don't like that.
Monster.
I'd rather have a guy who's going to be a workhorse, and I don't think David Montgomery is going to be going away in this year or next year. I think that could be something that they keep going for a while.
And it's cool for workhorses because you have such you have so many good players you can pick.
Yeah.
Like you have like Jonathan Taylor, people are high on Jonathan Taylor. You have Travis Etienne, like Saquon, like all these guys. And then if you get down to Kyron and Achane, like I probably wouldn't. Achane's one of my worst people I'm not touching. I don't think I'm going to draft anyone. And then maybe like a Pacheco.
Pacheco's all right too.
So you got like 3 good running backs right now that I think you could take. 4 if you count Gibbs. Because
of that, I'm going to go with AJ Brown that we've been talking about and hyping up. I think this is maybe a little early for him, but I don't know.
But it's really not that bad because if you don't know, you're going to see maybe some players come off the board here, and now you're like, okay, well now Gibbs and Etienne maybe makes your decision a little easier.
Yeah, it makes my decision a lot easier. Jonathan Taylor sitting here.
Yep, I think you guys
dominating that backfield.
I think Jonathan Taylor or Saquon would have been fine there.
Yeah. I honestly just didn't want to have AJ Brown and Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Puka slides all the way back past
and
the
Puka
wraparound.
falls all the way to
and that's
me,
fine with me.
Which is, I mean, if I compare a Puka and a Tyreek Hill, I mean, there's your two receivers right there. Again, they're both kind of questionable, but when you think about it, they're both going to play. Like, Puka Nacua should be fine, it literally says on here. But yeah, obviously, now coming back around, I'm going to have to wait a little bit. The running backs, I think there's still going to be good running backs when you come back around. And you got all these guys that got so low, like even a Derrick Henry is still on here. He's still going to be good for a while. I mean, if you want to bite the bullet and maybe trust Swift, I don't know how much I trust him, just because I don't know what our situation is going to be with running backs. I'd love Kenneth Walker, like if he could fall. Even Rashad White wouldn't be bad, but coming all the way to this spot, I think I'm just going to end up taking Puka, and I have my two receivers. For
sure. I mean...
So now the board looks a little different coming back to you.
Yeah. So, I've done a ton of mocks, and I just feel like I kind of go... Like, going back-to-back running backs for me and just wrapping up that position, and then in the middle rounds, it's just so much deeper wide receiver-wise compared to, like, looking at running backs. Like, then it gets into, like, now they're competing for the backfield. Like, now he's could be like a running back too, when I could just easily snag somebody who's going to be the feature back in the backfield. Like, I see Kyron here. Achane is just such an interesting one.
I think Achane is the only one that scares me. I think Kyron scares me for a different reason, just because how much they're actually going to use him. Like, he was getting like 25 carries, like a game, and he's very small individual. I don't know. He's only 5'9". I mean, it's just I want to know how his like longevity is going to work and see if he can stay healthy. And I've heard
feels like a guy that starts for like 3 years and then doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and I've heard Blake Corum's actually making like
he's gonna get run.
Making waves. Yeah,
he's gonna get run. Like, yeah. So I mean, them two are just really scary. But I can see why people would take Kyron.
I'm going to go with somebody that I just traded for in my other dynasty, and I feel like I got him at a pretty decent price in Kenneth Walker. Super young. I'm going off of what the Seahawks coach said, that they see him as a 3-down back, which is going to be huge, because the main thing was Charbonnet taking like the 3rd down snaps, but like they view Kenneth Walker as being able to do everything Charbonnet can, and I think he's just going to still dominate this backfield.
I think Kenneth Walker's super underrated in the receiving game as well. And I think that they're just going to try to use Charbonnet as like a 3rd down back if they want.
Yeah.
But quarterbacks are going. Do I think quarterbacks are going to go in ours? Probably not.
The only one that would probably slide is Josh Allen.
You think?
Like, if I had Josh Allen right here, I think about it in the 3rd.
If Mahomes was there, I'd probably take him.
Now I'm back up. Now this is where we just get busy with receivers.
Mahomes being in the league for 7 years does not sit right with me. It doesn't feel like he's been in the league for that long. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, honestly, I would not even be shocked if you went triple running back, because I'm dead ass.
This is a double flex league.
Double flex. Yeah. If you're doing a double flex league, you could just throw a good running back in there. I know everybody's like, you just throw a receiver in there, but if you can get 3 good running backs, like, I don't see a problem with that. I mean,
you have somebody who's a PPR fucking demon and Rashad White right here.
Especially because you said the wide receiver core is just so deep, which it is.
Right.
Like, yeah, you might get stuck with like a fucking... God, I don't even know.
I feel like there's a lot more receivers that like find their way onto boards in fantasy later in the year compared to backs. But like, the only one I see, Michael Pittman. I really like Nico Collins just because I feel like he is the one there, even with Diggs coming into town. I like Devontae Smith, but I'm kind of on the edge of not really going 2s.
2 in the 3rd round just feels crazy.
So I'm kind of liking the idea with who's on the board right now of maybe just getting like Josh Jacobs and then just throwing him in my other flex spot and just...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you were thinking like bigger picture, that's also another piece to trade.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 3rd running back. For some reason, I feel like running backs always get scarce.
Mm-hmm.
like throughout the season. So if you're gonna pick someone, you gotta pick them now. But
I'm gonna go
yeah,
Josh
just go
Jacobs.
triple running back. I don't hate it at all. Honestly, I looking at it, I don't think I can get away with not taking a running back in the third round, unless I guess the wraparound isn't like insane. But there's just a lot of people. Like I could go Pacheco here. I would have no problem going Pacheco. Rashad White wouldn't be terrible if I wanted to. My team's not really dynasty built right now, besides Puka. If I was gonna go like a Derrick Henry or like a Alvin Kamara, but I think let me look at these receivers.
Isn't that your guy, Nick?
What?
Kamara? Didn't you say you were high on Kamara the last
Yeah,
episode?
I'm always high on Kamara. I mean, he didn't play all the games last year, but was like second in points per game in the entire league.
Like when you're looking at it, I mean, like it's like a Devontae Smith right now. Doesn't look terrible. Like it's not a bad. I don't think that'd be a bad run. I mean, I'd have three basically slot players, but I know they're all going to get run and they're all going to get fed the ball. That's basically what it is. And then if I really want it, but Devontae Smith is also the 2 on his team. So right. I don't know whether to go him or you got like a Nico Collins or even a DJ Moore. Like you got, these are all, or Nico and DJ Moore would be a number 1. DK is a number 1. But because I feel like I could get a fucking running back just on the wraparound. So I think I'm going to go Devontae Smith. I'm going to take 3 receivers. If that does end up biting me, then fuck.
I wanted Pacheco so bad.
We'll just roll with it right now. I'm not mad at my receivers. I love the receivers that I have right now.
Wow, we got you guys 3 running backs and 3 wide receivers.
This trade me and Connor make for Kenneth Walker for Puka like midway through the year if I'm gonna get wicked.
I really like Nico Collins. I mean, I know you guys kind of talked about him a lot. Nico Collins, I think, in Dynasty is a really interesting pick because I don't think Stephon is staying there past this year. I think this is just 1 year.
You think it's just 1 year?
Yeah, I think this is a 1 year to get his value in a different place, and I think he's going to go somewhere else because I don't think the biggest problem with him in Buffalo is that he didn't like his targets, right? He wanted the ball more, and I don't think he's
insane.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to a place where he's going to get the ball more. So I don't think he's going to particularly like it. So Nico Collins being the one, and I think in the future being the more even definite one, like we saw last year, I think will end up being a great pick. So I'm going to snag him here with a wrap. And
so
I'm back.
You're coming back.
Now I come back, team 12, just taking every position. And then I can pretty much go anywhere here. Bunch of tight ends coming up. I could get before everybody else. It's interesting because like Brock Bowers in non-dynasty is going in like the 9th round, but here he's going in the 4th, which is
I'm
just
still
crazy.
Questionable on him just because like it is Gardner Minshew and I like Gardner Minshew, but like Devontae Adams is eating up all them fucking targets, especially and then you have Jacoby Myers that needs targets. Like Brock Bowers is somebody that they're using like a Swiss Army knife on offense, but it's like he's still a rookie, so I still like this might be a little high taking him over Andrews, Pitts, and Hawkinson.
Yeah,
like
probably a little high.
Mm-hmm.
And then here I'm looking at James Cook because I think I'm still kind of looking at a mix team for Dynasty and now, and I think he's 24 years old. He's going to be the one, and I do think the Bills are being a little bit underrated right now as an offense. I do think their offense is going to be a little bit better than people think, and there's still going to be a lot of touchdowns.
I think the receivers are just the scares. Like that's really all it is.
And I understand that, but I think Josh Allen's obviously going to be able to get more time, and I think they will be able to get open. I do like Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel a lot. So I think the offense will end up being a lot better. There's going to be a lot more touchdowns to go around than people think, and I think James Cook's going to be able to get a really good season out of it.
So that sucks. I was going to take James Cook. So now we're going to have to pivot because obviously I'm going to have to go running back here in the 4th round. But obviously there's still more value. I mean, if you're looking at some of these guys, I mean, you got Derrick Henry, who's going to be, I think he's going to help their goal line situation for the Ravens so much more. I think he's still Derrick Henry. Like, I get
he's going to get in the end zone.
And to be fair, and if we're looking just at this season, I would take Derrick Henry there.
Exactly.
I was just kind of looking at James Cook.
we're looking at just these, like James Cook is the dynasty pick.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was gonna take James Cook. He would have been my pick, but now I'm getting kind of handcuffed here, and I don't like a lot of these running backs on the board right now, and like I Swift just scares me. Mixon is just I have to see it first. Like I don't know how that's gonna roll around their offense. I mean, I know Devin Singletary was doing really good at times with Houston when he was there. I'm not even gonna. Is just a Texas running back, Jonathan Brooks? Yeah. I don't know anything about him. Okay, he won't be expected till week 3 anyway, so we're not gonna do that. Kamara, fuck man, why are you on the Saints? Like, why is Derek Carr your quarterback? Like, if I'm dead ass, like I'm literally only looking at Derrick Henry, and then if you run it to come down here, Najee Harris is like that. I feel like that would be the wraparound if he fell to me, or even an Aaron Jones.
Travis Kelce and Dalton Kincaid sitting right there at tight end.
But I don't think I'm handcuffed to go tight end right now.
I think you have to go running back.
Yeah.
I kind of have to go running back, and I'm gonna take Derrick Henry. Okay. And I don't think there was anything else I could do.
And now Corey's handcuffed to take
a receiver, I guess, or a tight end, because he's gonna get the wraparound anyway.
See, like I just know my guys in this middle part are just gonna be there, and are like. I'm gonna go.
Here's the thing. I already know who you're looking at. I see them.
Like DJ Moore's still here. There's a big like rank gap between DJ Moore and T. Higgins that, with how much Cincinnati's going to be throwing the ball, with how kind of not lackluster but questionable that running game could be. Like T. Higgins, if he stays healthy, like is going to be in this same tier as like a Devontae Smith, like in terms of being a 2, like a Jalen Waddle. Like I feel like him being hurt last year is just like making people forget how good T. Higgins actually is. I know he's a 2, but like they're going to throw the ball, and I trust Joe Burrow more than like Devontae Adams being the one with Gardner Minshew, right? And like Stephon Diggs, that receiver room is really full right now in Houston.
Debo is very interesting.
Yeah, Debo's interesting. I just trust T. Higgins and
28 years old,
Joe Burrow.
He's still there. I mean, man, like if Debo falls to me, I don't even hate that.
Oh, trust. I mean, he probably won't, but
Caleb Williams. And the computer loved their quarterbacks.
That's such a funny.
Jesus, Debo's here.
So now, yeah, it's just what I'm saying. Exact same thing. Like, do you take Debo? Is this a Debo area? You think?
Rashee Rice is like right there too, because now with Hollywood Brown hurt, if Rice doesn't get suspended, he's already is the one. Travis Kelce on the decline. I think they could just go to Rashee Rice even more now, and he could be. I feel like if it wasn't for the like off the field stuff, like he would be a lot higher because people are kind of scared of the suspension.
It's gonna come at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna come at some point. I've been hearing that it might not come this year.
What I mean.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it doesn't, but that would be crazy.
Right.
I just keep hearing it's gonna happen next year.
There's a safety net here with Cooper Kupp
Cooper
too.
Kupp.
This is like the safety net with Cooper Kupp. Because you just know he's going to get work. Like, Pickens right here, after what I saw in this preseason game from the Steelers, no. I'm going to go, Debo's still here too. I'm going to go with Debo.
Yeah, see, I don't hate that. I mean, you need a running, or you need receivers, so you might as well go Debo.
Who knows what happens with Ayuk? Like, if he does hold out, then Debo's just
and if Ayuk leaves,
right there.
I mean, that's even better for you.
Yeah.
Because that's just more touches for Samuel. I mean, yeah, and then you're looking at all these receivers in here. You got Devontae Adams, obviously, like one of the best receivers in the league. He's 31 years old, but he's got fucking quarterback situation is a little sus, which it has been for the past couple of years. Pickens, also quarterback situation. Jordan Addison, also a quarterback situation. And he's the 2, so I don't know. It's Sam Darnold. And then you just look at just old reliable Mike Evans. Just old reliable Mike Evans. I mean, I'm not going to take a receiver here, but just looking at what would be left, I think I'm going to take my first tight end, and I'm going to I'm gonna take Kyle Pitts. And I've never been on the Kyle Pitts like wagon. But I think if there was any time for me to like jump in, it's obviously now. And I think he's a really good dynasty piece. He's literally only 23 years old. He finally has a quarterback that'll throw him the ball. This is a better offense, a better OC already in there. I think I'm cool on running back right now. I think I can wait another round, and I would rather not see Kyle Pitts get taken. Because I'm not trying to take him just because he's the best on the board, but I think what's best for my team right now. So we're gonna take Kyle Pitts.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I wanted to stack him with Jonathan Taylor so bad. Okay. Well.
So you were gonna take Anthony Richardson.
I was gonna take Anthony Richardson and get every single Colts rushing touchdown ever. But now we pivot because I'm no longer looking at quarterback. I was kind of looking at getting a stack and Joe Burrow. I ain't got no interest in that. I'm to the point where now I don't really give a fuck about age.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like,
I think I'm a little overthinking that as well.
Like,
I think I'm overthinking the age part.
I got my people. Like, at some point, like, I know these people. I know Devontae Adams is still going to have a few good years. I know Mike Evans is going to get 1,000 yards. You know why? Because he has every year.
Of course.
Being the number one again, I'm just looking to take some of the best players available, and I'm gonna take Kamara here actually because I just noticed the wraparound and there's more wide receivers available. So here I'm gonna take Kamara. Hope Mike Evans doesn't get taken. Oh
wow!
And then get Mike Evans.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks because I was just gonna take Kamara, and I was gonna have Kamara and Henry, but now we pivot.
I mean, you still got David Montgomery here as well.
But it's like the same thing about Gibbs. I mean,
he's still there. I mean, he go get in the end zone.
I know he go get in the end zone, but is he going to do anything else? Like, he's not involved in the passing game like at all.
No,
guy, you're
16 catches all year last year.
Man,
if I'm you,
the Patriots
I'm choosing between Javonte or Ramondre.
The Patriots just suck. That's the problem. I know that they're going to run the ball a lot because they just signed Ramondre to his big extension.
Or if you want more receiving upside, I mean, Aaron Jones is down here, who is probably going to have way more receiving upside than anybody above him right now.
I mean, I could just take Najee Harris and just bite the bullet. Just be like, all right, your guys' passing game is going to be so fucking bad. But people are so high on Jaylen Warren.
Jaylen Warren is hurt right now.
He did get hurt. But I don't get the Jaylen Warren hype. I really don't. Like, Najee can do what Jaylen Warren does. Like, I think people are just overseeing Najee Harris. I think Pittsburgh fans in general are just so overseeing Najee Harris start. But he just gets 1,000 yards. Like, he just does it. Like, you don't know. It's just like, how? How did he get 1,000 yards? But I don't know. He just did it. Like, he's been in the league for 3 years. He's had fucking 1,000 yards every year.
Had 970 last year.
No, he had 1,000.
True, he had 1,000.
Oh, maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing.
Oh yeah, it does say that on the other screen though. I don't know why it says that.
It says 1,035 right here.
Yeah, it says two different numbers.
His 12. His rookie.
You have 10 seconds.
Oh shit. Yeah, we're gonna go Najee. But his rookie year was special.
Okay, Rashid Rice getting picked makes my pick a lot easier. I think it's a no-brainer. Like, you're getting Cooper Kupp and Stafford in that connection and how good this offense is going to be. Me snagging him in the 6th round when people are looking at, the injury he had last year, like, he's going into the year healthy. Puka's banged up right now. Like Cooper Kupp is a no-brainer pick right here for me.
Like, this is a weird, like, I really like this 5-6 turn of Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp. I think that's crazy.
If I'm in Dynasty and I have this, if I was team 12 or 11, I'm just taking Kupp over Pickens. He has the better quarterback, the better offensive system.
We can deal with it in a few years.
Yes, we can deal with that. And then now back on the clock. This is where I know. See, me and Nick have done mocks before, so Nick knows my guy from the slide. He knows I'm high on Jake Ferguson though. But in this world, I'm going Brian Thomas, super high on him. for a possible low-key stack later down this draft.
Hoft and Kittle go. That doesn't really affect anything that I do. And I'm still looking at receivers. I mean, there's just so many good receivers that are still left. And I think, again, do you really have to worry about age at this point in the draft? Not really.
I don't.
I think I'm just I'll say I don't really think so. I mean, obviously you can wait on quarterback forever. So I don't really have to worry about that. But you're looking at two players like Amari Cooper and Terry McLaurin, who, I mean, they both have quarterback situations.
They're both quarterback proof.
Yeah, I mean, but Amari Cooper, I guess, has the better supporting cast, is what I would say. Like, there's more mouths to feed with Njoku, and then they just got Jerry Jeudy, and I think they still have Elijah Moore, which is super interesting. And you sit here and look at Terry McLaurin. He's got a rookie quarterback coming in. I mean, every year since his rookie year, he's been fucking so solid with whoever was throwing him the ball. Like, it didn't really matter. So I think taking Terry McLaurin this low is a no-brainer. So I'm going back to the wide receiver well, and then Amari Cooper goes right after. So I think that if I would have taken Amari Cooper, I think McLaurin was going.
I like that. Okay. So right here, I have no quarterback, no tight end. All my running back and wide receiver spots are filled. So, and looking at running back and wide receivers at this point is dog shit. Like Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley. I'm not looking at any of those guys.
But you got a Jake Ferguson.
He knows where I'm going.
Listen,
so at this turn, I've looked. You can tell 11 and 12 have both picked their quarterback and tight end. So I ain't really got to worry about who I pick first. So I'm going to go Jake Ferguson first, and then at my next pick, I'm going to go quarterback Dak Prescott. A little early, but I want to secure a stack, and that was really the only one available left for me. And Dak's like going to be good. Like, you tell me that Dak's going to have a worse year than Justin Herbert? No, I don't think so.
So now we're back to me. So now I still only have two running backs, and I'm looking at Aaron Jones, who I feel like I always end up having Aaron Jones every year in any league. And I don't, it's not that the only reason I'm kind of I think I'm going to take him is because Sam Darnold he's going to have that dump off ability. Aaron Jones is so good in the pass game that's why I was so confused on why the Packers got rid of him. I thought Aaron Jones fit with Jordan Love and the Packers so much better than what Josh Jacobs is going to do. Just in the pass game, I mean, again, Vikings O-line's not ass. It's not, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's not ass. So I think he's going to be able to run the ball fine. I think I got to take him as a third option here in, what are we, the 8th round. I think I kind of handcuffed to go him.
Now I'm to the point where running backs and receivers, I can go a different route here, go tight end or quarterback.
I stole your stack. Sorry.
Yeah. It's cool, though. It's cool. I have another stack building. I just... Older side, tight end. This is the tight end 2 or 3 last year, if I'm not mistaken. Evan Ingram. He just was feasting as soon as Christian Kirk got hurt back half of the year. And to get him... I know he's older and we're thinking Dynasty, but to get him over Kittle, who's older, but I think Evan Ingram has more of a bigger role in that offense with all those mouths over there with the 49ers. Njoku, big question mark, because he didn't start eating or doing really anything until Joe Flacco stepped in. Like, Ingram was in the realm of all these tight ends that got taken early.
I think Evan Ingram and Dallas Goedert might be on the same kind of playing field. Honestly, like if you could get either one of them, obviously Cole Kmet's still here. Cole Kmet isn't really a fantasy tight end. He's just a very solid tight end because you don't know. There are some times where he really will only have 1 catch for 5 yards, and the other times he'll have 5 for 3 touchdowns. Like, you don't know, but you got Evan Ingram, who was awesome last year, and I mean they lost their number 1 wide receiver, so I think he's gonna be very good, and I think Dallas Goedert could be awesome too. Dalton Schultz isn't even a bad get here.
I'm gonna go
as well.
I'm gonna go with Evan Ingram here. and just hope on this wraparound.
It's
I'm
like
fine.
Blake Corum going in the 8th round is so weird. That is so weird.
All right.
Team 4 taking 2 quarterbacks. Thanks, man. 2 rookies, 2 rookie quarterbacks.
So now I'm looking at quarterbacks here. I see Kyler here falling so far. I think Kyler has more upside than Jordan Love. You could even say Dak just because of the rushing ability. Like Trevor Lawrence is here for the stack, but like I just don't think I can pass up on Kyler Murray and that rushing
I was going
upside.
to say Brock.
Kyler in the 9th is just always going to be a steal.
Oh yeah,
It's just always going to be a steal. I'm kind of looking at like this is where
I don't
receivers
know how much you
get
value
wicked.
like a stack. Like I don't know how, unless you got someone like in your rear view for the Cardinals.
On the way back, and I do have somebody, but I like T-Law, but just the upside alone with just Kyler and the rushing, I mean, I just gotta take it.
Mm-hmm. And then I think this makes like now that I think a lot of quarterbacks are going, looking. I mean, if I didn't want to go quarterback here, it's not that big of a deal. Actually, I don't know. Team 4 decided to take 2 quarterbacks for some reason. But, I mean, you got
I might take
AR, Dak, Burrow, and Lamar all gone. So I would think the computer and Nick wouldn't take another quarterback. So I think I'm probably cool without taking a quarterback right now. But it's very interesting. I have a lot of places I can go. When you're looking at wide receivers are starting to get a little scarce. You're starting to get to some younger guys. I think Adonai Mitchell is going to be really good. I think he's going to be a plug-and-play player. I think he should play right alongside his Pittman. I think he's going to be awesome for them. He's going to be their big play guy down the field. I know they still have Alec Pierce, so he'll probably still be playing. I don't know who the Colts tight end is. I never know who their tight end is.
Molly Cox, I think.
Jeez. And then you have Hollywood Brown here. Change of scenery. Don't really know. The Chiefs' offense is just always so weird with receivers. You also got someone like a Jameson Williams, super young guy, in the 9th round, which also isn't terrible. But you got to think Laporta, all of them. But it's just very interesting. I think for Dynasty's sake and for my next wraparound pick, I think I'm going to go Dynasty pick and Adonai Mitchell, because I want to see what their kind of their vibe's going to be together.
Okay. I like that. I'm back up. I got my whole starting lineup filled, so I'm kind of just looking at bench pieces or young guys that I think could be really good in a few years. But one guy I'm looking at, I mean, he's number 1 running back on an upcoming offense, Brian Robinson. He is 25 years old. Huh?
I was also looking at Brian.
Yeah,
Robinson.
I mean, he's just a starting running back. Like, he's going to do it. Like, they added Austin Eckler, but, like, old man Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler went before him. That's crazy.
Whole round
for him. That's just crazy to me because
honestly, they just think he's going to start.
Okay, I mean,
they just assume Austin Eckler's probably going to start.
Well, I disagree. I'm taking Brian Robinson. Wow, they are taking 2 quarterbacks. That's
Why
crazy.
are they taking 2 quarterbacks?
That makes no sense. All right, and then on the way back, I guess I'm kind of just looking at receiver. Ricky Pearsall could be interesting with, the talks about Brandon Ayuk. Deontay Johnson still a number 1 wide receiver. 28 years old.
Him and Thielen back on this back half. Like, Thielen's way down here in Dynasty terms, but
he's got to be way down there. Jalen Polk could go Romeo Dobbs. Everyone's a number 1 wide receiver in Green Bay. But I'm just gonna stick to the trend of taking guys who are number 1s or starters. I'm gonna take the number 1 wide receiver in Carolina.
Okay, so that's worked out pretty good for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a quarterback. Finally.
I could have been an asshole and taken a quarterback, but
did you know who you?
I would have taken Goff. I would have stolen Goff. I don't know if that was your pick, but
no, that wasn't who I was gonna pick. But obviously, if in what round are we in? The 10th round. Still don't have a quarterback. I'm the only team without a quarterback, actually. and I'm gonna go get one, and I'm gonna get the stack of Tua and Tyreek Hill.
That's such a fire stack for this late.
This late in the draft. I think that's a steal. I'm getting.
Yeah.
Obviously Tua. People can they can say whatever they want about him, but that offense is meant to throw the ball. That offense is explosive, like Waddle and Tyreek, and they just didn't they get a tight end? I swear to God, they signed somebody.
Oh, they did. I can't remember who it was though.
So was it Hunter Henry?
It might have been.
I thought they might have signed a tight end, but I think that offense is going to stay the same. I think they'll still be moving bombs down the field. Tyreek barely runs his own routes. So
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith, sure. Don't care. But I think that's a crazy step.
That might be better. That might be better.
The 10th round. Corey, you're back up now.
I mean,
so what do we think?
I'm just looking at like some of the just research and stuff I've seen, and not the biggest believer, but I'm starting to get there. I think this Broncos offense is going to look a little bit better than people think. Receiver-wise, from what I've seen, Bo Nix is getting the ball out very fast. Playing more of like what Sean Payton wanted Russell Wilson to do. And I see both number one receivers, more so in Cortland Sutton being the one, Troy Franklin, more of a dynasty pick. At this point in the draft, I'm kind of just going value in case I do catch an injury to like Kupp, who has his concerns. Same with Debo, same with Higgins. So looking at that, I already have kind of a young guy in Brian Thomas. I like the idea of Cortland Sutton just because I think Bo Nix is going to be a little bit better than people think he is right away. But I'm really just deciding between him and Troy Franklin. I'm going to go Troy Franklin just because he's younger. Going to build that connection with Bo Nix for the future. Perfect. Now I'm back up. Oh, okay. I thought he went. I'm going to go Jerome Ford. Who knows when Nick Chubb is going to come back and what that looks like when he does come back coming off the injury. But this is a number one running back going this late in the draft where he was doing just fine both receiving and rushing with the Browns. So I expect the same thing. I think it's kind of crazy that he's going this far down. It's just like
him and like I feel like Gus Edwards too.
Yes.
Like Gus Edwards could just fall in for 10 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Very easily. He had 13 last year. So like it's very crazy that him. I mean, I feel like him, Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, and Zeke are three guys that should not be going this well.
Right. Like, I'm going to go with Jerome Ford because out of those three guys that you just named, they're kind of all similar in a way.
Yeah.
But I think Jerome Ford probably has the most receiving upside. And this late in the draft, I'm just looking for a nice little depth piece because I already went 3 running backs.
Well, he's back for seconds. I think we're going to get to the point where I got to take starting running backs. And to get a starting running back in the 11th round is pretty crazy. Someone that I can maybe trust.
Oh my God. Dude, your running back room?
I'm going to go Zeke. I have no problem taking Zeke.
Pediatric running back room.
I have a running back room that is very like hit or miss. It's very hit or miss. Like the hits are gonna be some hits, but the misses.
But you got Tyreek Hill.
Are gonna fucking hurt. But I'm really liking my team right now, and to get
God forbid Kyle Pitts isn't anything.
God, I'm so but to have a team like this at this point is very nice for me to have a good stack, have 4 good running backs, have my 4 good receivers, and then a backup guy, and a good tight end. I think I'm sitting pretty good.
God, like we're getting to that point, man.
Oh yeah, we're getting to that point where it's almost best available.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm going to take running back handcuff. I've heard really good things about Kendre Miller in this offseason, and with Alvin Kamara being old, I'll just take his handcuff, Kendre Miller. And then I'm back up. And we're just looking at upside at this point. Jalen Polk is a guy I've been hearing a lot of good things about in New England's camp. Maybe him and Drake may end up getting a real good connection, and they get their first good receiver in years. Jalen Polk.
And now I'm back up. Taking Zeke, he was just back for seconds. Now, we're kind of looking at best available. I have no idea who Marshawn Lloyd is. I'm not even gonna hold you guys.
He's back up in Green Bay.
Don't they still have AJ Dillon?
AJ Dillon, it's time to wrap it up.
He's their backup. He's their backup. What do you mean? I know he signed a 1 year, I thought. But I don't know. Honestly, man, look at Quentin Johnson, man. This fucking guy. Is this guy like Quentin Johnson is one guy that I could literally be like, oh my god, he might be out of the league in like 2 years. Like
Yeah.
I really don't know. Like he's playing so fucking bad. But then I could look at my king Khalil Shakir.
He's the one, right?
Yeah, honestly, that's because unless you want to call Keon Coleman the one, which I mean, like I'm gonna guess that Khalil Shakir is gonna be the one playing the slot. But yeah, I'm gonna take Khalil Shakir here. There's really I don't have an explanation for that.
It just is what it is.
Nick was saying, I'm gonna go ahead and get Braden Allen just to get that stack and get that assurance behind Breece Hall. And I've also just heard good things, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that for assurance as well. Okay. I'm to the point now where I am kind of just going best available. I mean, I could
It's kind of hard to explain picks when you're in round 13.
Yeah.
There's not much to it.
I mean...
Like Gabe Davis, like...
I'm going to go Joshua Palmer. Like, he's just the one over there right now. Like, he is just the one over there right now. And he's only 24, I want to say. I'm going to go Joshua Palmer.
Well, that fucking sucks. I was going to take Tyler Lockett. Damn it.
Old man Lockett.
I was going to be like, why the fuck is Tyler Lockett still here? But, all right. Now, I think we're going to take some time off from wide receivers. We're going to hopefully get away from that. But we're going to look, because I'm looking at little tight end here, little backup tight end action. You know, maybe I need another tight end. I thought Isaiah Likely would be a good pick. Then I thought Musgrave would be a good pick, and they both went. So I can't really do anything about that.
Taysom Hill's right there.
Cade Otton. I mean, I think he is very slept on. I think Cade Otton is a very slept on tight end in the league. I think I don't think people are ready for the Cade Otton experience. I think him and Baker have a special relationship. So I'm gonna go Cade Otton here. That's just what I think, man. Drake May goes back on Nick.
I was muted. Okay. One thing, I'm sorry, I have a dog barking outside my house. I don't own a dog. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. I really wanted to get that 12th and 13th round stack in Drake May and Jalen Polk.
Well,
wasn't destined to happen. It just wasn't. So yeah. Wow. Like Rashid Shaheed is the one, right? Or two. God, he's the two. He's the two.
Yeah, he's the two.
Oh, yeah, there's nobody here. So
is Michael Thomas on an NFL roster?
No.
That's so insane.
Like Mike Williams. He's the two to Aaron Rodgers.
Mike Williams.
And then, like, Dak gets hurt or, holds out, then I don't have a quarterback. So then, this Mike Williams, Aaron Rodgers stack in the 14th and 15th round, everybody. Watch out for it.
Oh, man.
You can get it. It's so cheap.
That's where I was going to go.
It's so cheap.
You got me. But I need... Oh, man. Oh, my God.
Come on.
Shit. Okay, so...
Hey, it runs in the blood. Luke McCaffrey is available. It runs in the blood.
You know what? I think I need that Kirk Cousins Kyle Pitts stack in my life. We're gonna go Kirko as my backup quarterback.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, get Kirk Cousins while he's hot in the 14th round. 36 years old. Drafted. 36 years old. 2-quarterback league if you have it.
Hey,
Super
Dynasty
flex.
2 quarterbacks though.
If you can get the stack, bro, trust.
He's looking at kickers. This sick man.
I mean, we're just taking a glance.
Just taking a glance.
Like, so I don't really. This is low key stack. Only real ball knowers know about this. This is what I was planning when I took Kyler. Michael Wilson
Dortch?
is the 2.
Oh, I thought it was Dortch.
Michael Wilson is the 2. When Kyler was healthy, Michael Wilson was eating back half of last year. Still super young. Last year was his rookie year. Fully healthy Kyler. Marvin Harrison, he's still a rookie. He is still a rookie. Could have some growing pains, Michael Wilson. It's just the pick here.
So you talking about that 14th round Michael Wilson, Kyler Murray stack?
Right. Exactly.
So Ty Chandler goes here. Where do you go
now?
That's
That's fire.
So you got you got 3 good running backs off the board. Will Shipley's on Philly? Yeah, he ain't playing.
I mean, look at
Shipley.
He's so fire. I loved him at Clemson. He's only 21. I feel like he was there forever.
I mean,
That's crazy.
It's crazy you can get this stack this late. Kyler goes down. Stafford
You might as well
Cup.
take Greg Dortch while you're at it. Oh,
Stafford Cup. Like,
oh, man.
Oh.
I mean, these kickers.
Fields is right there.
I mean, Justin Tucker is just so solid. Like, you just love Justin Tucker, but Harrison Butker hates women. He just signed a new bag. But then you have Evan McPherson or Brandon Aubrey. Do we get more points for the farther the field
Brandon
goal?
Aubrey's kicked a 68-yarder.
66?
66, whatever it was.
Do we get is it more points farther the kick?
I think it's just 5+. They might add a 6+ now that people are kicking 60s.
Brandon Aubrey is the number 1 kicker on here. Am I supposed to just not overthink it? Is it Brandon Aubrey? Like,
Probably.
but you guys are going to be so much better in the red zone now. That's the thing. Now that you guys have, no, I got to go my GOAT. Justin Tucker. I can't overthink it. My GOAT, Justin Tucker. He doesn't miss.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, just some value picks here, you know? Dontavion Wicks, Curtis Samuel. Those are both guys right there. Give me Dontavion Wicks.
Those are both guys.
And then Khalil Herbert just got picked.
Yes, he did.
49ers defense.
But when you can get the Justin Tucker Baltimore Ravens defense stack,
dude,
in the 16th round,
you're insane.
This guy just got drafted. He doesn't have a fucking picture.
Oh, I know. Hey, Tyrone Tracy, he's good.
Is that the guy who went off in the preseason game?
Yeah,
oh my god!
But the Ravens defense is just solid. It is so solid. Roquan, they added Eddie Jackson. Like, they got that guy from Clemson. Like, their D-line's still good. Like,
somebody
the Ravens
in this New England receiver room has to step up.
Is it DeMario?
Yes. It's DeMario Douglas. Oh, Javon Baker right
Pop
here
Douglas.
too. But it's DeMario Douglas.
Tank Bigsby.
So A.J. Dillon finally goes.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore Jr. Frank Gore Jr. He's on the Bills? That's fire. Young Hoku.
Yeah.
You have anything to say about that?
No.
Okay, so now I'm going to really blow your guys' minds.
Who are you picking?
When you can take the Justin Tucker Baltimore Ravens defense in the Rashad Bateman Baltimore stack. Guys,
Brandon Aubrey's
subscribe. Like the video for more shit like this. Because we're blowing minds over here.
I went for the 49ers Jake Moody stem. Yeah.
See, that's a slept-on one.
And I look up 49ers players and pick the rest of the people that are good. It's like Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
In the 18th round.
Yeah. I mean,
Darnell Mooney.
I have Deontay Johnson. One of them has to be the number 1.
Darnell Mooney is just here. Like, do you gotta... Javon Baker, who is this? UCF? Oh, he might be fired.
Look at his picture. He's standing sideways.
Yeah, he is. So, I think we gotta go running back here, though. That's the thing. So, Dalvin Cook isn't on a team. But, hear me out, guys. When he gets signed, y'all are gonna be like, oh my god, he's a GOAT. How does he know? See, okay. Now, this would actually kind of make sense. Wait, maybe not. Who's the Ravens' backup running back? Is it that rookie who died?
Oh, yeah, Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, Keaton Mitchell. Fuck. All right, so you can't get Keaton Mitchell, but when you get the Justice Hill handcuff. So we've taken 4 Baltimore Ravens in a row. Trust, guys, trust.
I mean, Browns defense, like,
That's a good
defense.
there.
Browns defense might be a casual
Oh,
pick.
damn it.
all right. So that concludes the draft. We can run through all of our teams. I can go ahead and start first.
My team's solid.
I mean, 3 straight backs off the board. I mean, double flex league, Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, those are going to carry me. And then getting Cooper Kupp in the 6th round, super high value, who is pretty much, I want to say, still like pseudo 1 on his team. Debo can be hit or miss at times, but depending on the Ayuk situation, I like Debo here. T. Higgins with how much Cincinnati's going to throw the ball. Brian Thomas, who is somebody who I think can step in and be that number 1 next to Christian Kirk, because that's how good I think Brian Thomas is. Pairing him up with Evan Ingram, I think the Jags offense is going to be pretty good. Kyler rushing upside, and then my whole back half is just like handcuffs value, like Jerome Ford and Joshua Palmer. I think those are going to still be decent guys in case I do have a ton of injuries on my roster. But then even if that, the waiver wire is just going to be throughout the year where I go if anything bad like that does happen.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, started out elite wide receiver class right here. I think I have. We go with Tyreek Hill. You take Puka. I think those are 2 no-brainer picks. And then getting extra value, and you're going to put him in kind of your flex spot. You can put Devontae Smith in your flex. Have no problem with that. Decided to grab Derrick Henry. He's going to be a touchdown machine, I think. He is also just Derrick Henry. I don't think you can pass him up getting all the way to the 4th round when you need a running back. I think you just got to take best available at that point. Looking at my second running back, I have Najee Harris. Obviously, he can be a little sus. I think people are going to be very low on him, but he's going to go for 1,000. I think he's going to open up that offense maybe a little bit. He's going to be good in the screen game. He can be a check down merchant. He'll always be there. But just in case, if I'm not feeling Najee, maybe he doesn't do anything, you can throw in an Aaron Jones in there. Have no problem with him. Maybe I trust him a little more. And if I really want to get super insane, I could throw Zeke in there. Obviously, they haven't announced Zeke as the starter, but if he's there, he's going to be the starter. Like, it doesn't make any sense for him to not be the starter. Also, getting another receiver like Terry McLaurin, someone just a number 1. Obviously, you don't know how his rookie quarterback's going to do, but Terry McLaurin has been able to make the best out of nothing. And having Kyle Pitts also there. Kyle Pitts, again, like I said, I've never drafted him or had the past 3 years, I've never drafted him. And I think this was the best year to get him, especially now that he finally has a quarterback. And speaking of quarterbacks, I have Tua to complete my stack for Tua and Tyreek, which I think is going to be killer. And then my bench is just my bench.
Yeah. Fire. I started off with A.J. Brown. I think that Philly offense is going to be better this year. Number 1 wide receiver. Top 5 in talent. With Jonathan Taylor, one of the only workhorse running backs in the league still today. Might be a little bit weird with touchdowns. Maybe Anthony Richardson steals a lot of them, but I think either way he's going to be a great back. Nico Collins, a little bit of a mixture pick between Dynasty and now, because I think he's going to have a great year, but in the future I think he could be solidified as C.J. Stroud's number 1 wide receiver for years to come. And then a few other running backs, James Cook and Alvin Kamara. James Cook, more Dynasty pick, going to be the starter for a few more years. Alvin Kamara, I think I'm going to just have in my starting lineup this year. Should give me a lot of points, but don't really know what he's going to do in the future. And then I just got the 1,000-yard machine in Mike Evans. And then the 7th and 8th round, I went with the Dak Prescott and Jake Ferguson pick. I did reach a little bit for Dak. But at that point, again, I did just want to get a stack in there because I think that gives you a lot of upside on your team in certain weeks. And, when you get touchdowns with them, I think Jake Ferguson could have a really good year touchdown-wise. And then my back half, I just kind of stuck with getting guys who are definitely going to contribute, not guys that are, young and maybes. So, a guy like Brian Robinson, Deontay Johnson, both number 1 starters. Mike Williams, Jalen Polk, yeah.
Mike Williams should be good as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy.
Yeah.
It's funny looking at these, like, the computer teams. Like, this team 6 in between me and Corey is kind of tough. Like, this is a good team. Like, he's got, like, 3 solid running backs right there. You got 3 solid receivers. Then you're going to, I mean, TJ is a little sus because he's going to be hurt. But, like, then he takes Cole Kmet just to have a quarterback. Then you get the Love and Watson. Man, who is this guy? This guy was thinking. Guy was going crazy.
But I
His
mean,
wide receiver room's tough.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, London, Pittman, and Metcalf, and Watson.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 running backs, like 5 is just such a weird spot because on that wraparound, dynasty wise, it's like Drake London went the pick before. Then it's like Neighbors, and then it's like Ayuk. He has this whole thing going on, and then it's like Waddle's really the receiver I would have taken here if I went wide receiver, and then I still would have had Jacobs on the wrap. So I could have went a couple of different directions.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that Kenneth Walker pick was crazy.
Really?
His ADP was 40. You took him at 28. I thought that was kind of insane.
I just think people are sleeping on him.
I think people are more low on the Seahawks offense more than Kenneth Walker, or maybe just the Seahawks as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that division is just so hard, and like
Right.
it always feels like every team in that division gets better every year besides the Seahawks. Like the Seahawks are always just mediocrity. Like if you think of mediocre, like I literally think of the Seahawks. Like I don't know, like they'll just maybe make the playoffs at like 9-8, or they'll just miss the playoffs at 8-9. Like I don't. It's just very very odd.
Yeah, for me there, I just take Jacobs. I don't know. That's just me personally, though. So I
would
have just taken Jacobs around before.
Yeah.
I go Kenneth over Jacobs.
But like
as well, I think.
either way, if I did 3 running backs, like
You
if
have
I
3
take
solid
Jacobs,
running
Walker
backs.
would have been on the wrap probably. If I took Walker and Jacobs was on the wrap, so like
Oh yeah, Walker would have definitely been there.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. They'd be taking 2 quarterbacks and shit with these computers. Might as well. Team 12 gonna be like, let me have 12 running backs. Like, why not?
Oh my god. But we can wrap it up there. That is all we had for this episode and this Dynasty kind of startup mock. Just kind of having some fun with a lot of the mocks going in. This is probably the last. I know our leagues are kind of drafting this either this weekend or the weekend after this one.
Yeah.
So, but that is all we have for this episode of the Barrel Talk Podcast. Hope you tune in to future episodes.